This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the News of the Week for June 19th, 2021. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. Bitcoin has been an area of debate and discussion since its inception. Being entirely virtual, it is free of the constraints of the Federal Reserve, infuriating statists. One objection that I heard is that with all of the places that are being hacked, how long until Bitcoin is hacked? At the same time, how long until banks are hacked? More people have money there. However, Pocahontas has a more nonsense problem with crypto. Apparently using computers to mine crypto will increase the rate of global warming. Translation: we need to have government-backed currency and give the Federal Reserve unlimited power over inflation to stop imaginary global warming. The Squad is an insult to the American people, and Ilhan Omar is no exception. She compared America and Israel to the terrorist group Hamas. Our military-industrial complex is a problem, but I do not think that the comparison is fair in the least. Then she took it a step further in the twisted worldview of the Democrats and said that all Jews need to die. That sounds like anti-Semitism, one of the few isms that Democrats do not oppose. People actually elected this individual. However, there was probably quite a bit of shenanigans going on. The Catholic League has detailed 32 different instances of Joe Biden not only acting in direct contrast with Catholic teaching, but in direct contrast with the Bible. I would put them all on screen, but we would be here all day. Instead, you can read them for yourself using the link in the description. However, they really come down to three basic points of contention: silencing anyone who might disagree with him, similar to the Johnson Amendment; removing restrictions on abortion that were protecting these innocent children, as well as furthering the LGBT nonsense and furthering the idea that you can change your gender regardless of the psychological damage. Documents released from the IRS or the Interstate Robbery Service show that many super wealthy people are not officially paying taxes. This is used as fodder by Democrats to raise taxes on the wealthy. Even if they did not provide countless jobs to lift people out of poverty with that wealth, even if they foolishly just let the money gain interest, that is how the money for loans is created. The problem is not who is taxed or how much, but who gets loopholes. The federal tax code is estimated to be 1.3 billion pages, or about the height of a second grader. If you increase taxes, the super wealthy would just pay to get more loopholes, and then we are right back where we started. The only way to end this and stop the loopholes is to limit government. And we all know what happens when someone comes to Washington and just threatens to remove regulations. The left is freaking out over Republicans using the filibuster. Apparently, this is a threat to democracy. However, we do not live in a democracy.
It's a republic, if you can keep it.
We still live in a republic. In a democracy, the majority can vote to take your property away, and there's nothing that you can do about it. In a republic, your property is your own, and no one can take it away from you. In regards to the filibuster, it protects against the tyranny of the majority. It is the last line of defense should one group try to amass too much power. It is only a matter of time until the Democrats need the filibuster, and then they will not want to get rid of it. There is another new strain of COVID that we are going to have to deal with. This one is out of Britain. Something tells me that this will be just as harmless as the original. Either way, someone like Biden will initiate lockdowns without a moment's notice and more ineffectual mask mandates. However, the exact particularities depend entirely on the spin of the media. If they advertise the common cold as the end of the world, people will react accordingly. If they follow the scientific method, they will ignore this for the nonsense that it is. What would you say if I told you that a victim of sex trafficking escaped from North Korea and is living in the United States? Probably something along the lines of, what a tremendous amount of courage. This person escaped a totalitarian regime and reached the freedom of America. Instead, the mainstream media is ignoring her story. Why? Because Yeonmi Park called out Columbia University for using the same tactics that North Korea used. The education system is training people to hate America. She was called out for liking Jane Austen because of white supremacy. If you don't believe her, listen to this escapee from China.
I've been very alarmed about what's going on in our school. You are now training our children to be social justice warriors and to loathe our country and our history. Growing up in Mao's China, all this seemed very familiar. The communist regime used the same critical theory to divide people. The only difference is they use class instead of race. During the Cultural Revolution, I witnessed students and teachers turn against each other. We changed school names to be politically correct. We were taught to denounce our heritage. The Red Guards destroy anything that is not communist, old statues, books, and anything else. We are also encouraged to report on each other, just like the Student Equity Ambassador Program and the bias reporting system. This is indeed the American version of the Chinese Cultural Revolution. The critical race theory has its roots in cultural Marxism. It should have no place in our schools.
Critical race theory is racist and is training the next generation to hate America. I have a few ideas as to why, but you would think I was crazy. Vladimir Putin is the absolute last person to comment on anything in regards to civil rights. Quite honestly, we do not know for certain all of the atrocities that go on inside his regime. However, when asked about an execution, he did respond with this gem.
And they came to the Congress with political demands. Isn't that persecution for political opinions? Some have been accused of plotting to take over government power. Some are accused of robbery. They didn't go there to rob. The people, the individuals whom you mentioned, yes, they were convicted for violating their status of individuals who had been previously convicted and given suspended sentences. Twice an individual was given suspended sentences. Essentially, it was a warning not to violate the Russian laws. And he completely ignored the requirements of the law. The court went on and turned the conviction into real jail time. Thousands and thousands of people ignore requirements of the law, and they have nothing to do with political activities in Russia every year, and they go to jail. If somebody is actually using political activities as a shield to deal with their own issues, including to achieve their commercial goals, then it's something that they have to be held responsible for.
Although the mainstream media refuses to admit it, 1. President Trump, Alex Jones, and countless others said that this had to be peaceful. 2. The Capitol Police let them in. 3. The media was waiting for them to take pictures. And 4. Most stayed behind the velvet ropes. Now we know something else. The FBI may have been directly involved. If true, this was a Reichstag and an operation of the deep state. If it takes Putin to call out human rights violations, we really do have a problem. At least the rest of the world is not laughing at a dementia-riddled president. Oh, wait.
And the president of South Africa. And the president of South Africa, as I said earlier. Oh, you did? I did not. I certainly did.
But you get mentioned twice. So.
Let me tell you, when
Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that he is ramping up resources to deal with the vote recount. Translation: he is looking for anything to throw them all into jail because they might uncover some wrongdoing. Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers warned him that any attempt to do so would violate Arizona's sovereign rights and it would land him in an Arizona jail. If everything is on the up and up, why are the feds and the Democrats trying to stop it? They did not even attempt a recount in 2016 because they knew it was a legitimate win. They just jumped on the Russia collusion hoax. In truth, the deep state is scared, and we cannot back down, because several other counties and states are considering recounts, and if this one is stopped, it will set a precedent for all of the others. Texans are still a bit mad over the freeze of this last February. We can handle heat without batting an eye, but we are not prepared for the cold. Moving on, ERCOT's problem was that it was depending on wind and solar rather than oil and natural gas. The former two, infamously unreliable, yet we need to use them to stop imaginary global warming. I wonder if they are going to be able to handle the summer heat. After all, the summer solstice is 2 days away. If they are relying only on green energy, we are going to have one hot summer. ERCOT is preparing by telling people to conserve power because they know that this green system will not be able to handle it. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also please consider following me on social media.